And yeah, let's just get a feeling of who's in the room at the moment. Nice, nice, Luke. Tiptree, Essex, back home. Back home, we've got snow. We've got, oh, Gail, thank you. Over 100 people. That went very quickly, didn't we? We've got Scotland. Well, thank you, Europeans, for staying up late. I know that for some of you it's 9 p.m., 10 p.m. It's very late there. Marin County, of course. Wow, it's going fast now. More Scotland, Asheville. Oh, places that I have visited. Chapel Hill, Montana. Wow. New York City, Portland, Oregon. So many places that I was in just 2 years ago. Is it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2019. Around this time I was in the States and then went to Europe a little bit later. Beautiful. Germany, thank you. London again. Santa Barbara. Wow. Melbourne, Australia, of course. Netherlands. And the Sunshine Coast. I'm on the Sunshine Coast. Nice to see you, Jade. I don't think we've met. Wonderful. Well, and Argentina, that's nice to see. That's really nice. So we see more and more countries getting curious about this book, which is very satisfying for me. It's really nice to see people from, it's reached the Middle East, it's reached Asia. So it's reached some quite different cultures, and I think touched some hearts and some souls there, which is a really nice thing to happen. So I'd like to invite you for a moment before we start to close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe like a baby. You know, a baby's stomach goes up and down, so breathe deep. And take a moment before we start to reflect on your relationship with money, however you see that, whatever that means to you. Take a moment to reflect on it like a relationship with a partner, with somebody that you love, and see what your relationship with money feels like. And breathe. And I'd like to ask you now simply to open your eyes and to keep breathing. We are the breath of life. You and I, we are in the wind. We are in the trees. We are in the soil. We are in the rivers and the lakes and the seas. We are the breath of life, you and I. We move together through space, through the stars, and home again. We breathe as one and as two. We breathe life in. We breathe life out. We breathe together. And we breathe apart. We breathe life for each other. We see, we know, we breathe. We are the breath of life. As it breathes. So we breathe. We are the breath of life, you and I. One of my greatest intentions, one of my greatest hopes for this book is that it will support all those people, including the incredible people who make these pieces with me. Gary Malkin, who is just an extraordinary musician, and Louis Robert, who has, it was like he filmed the videos long ago, ready for the creations that Gary and I made together. And that people who can do what they absolutely love to do can do that and make that their source of income and financial support as well. Whatever it is that you love to do, it feels to me like the world will be a better place when we're able to contribute that to each other and that be the essence and the foundation of our economy. And Love Money, Money Loves You started 11 years ago, where I was in a very difficult place financially. My business had failed in London, and it was just extremely painful and challenging. And I found myself literally sitting on my bed one day, writing a message from money. And it was an incredibly beautiful message, and surprising and touching, and so different from anything that I had ever heard about money before. And that was the beginning. I started writing every day. I ended up with a series of messages, which many of you are familiar with, and some of you won't be, which turned into the book, Love Money, Money Loves You. It's now probably almost exactly 11 years since I first published it. It crept into the world very quietly. I'd been asked not to publish it, quite specifically by my teacher at the time. So I did it with a false name. I went actually behind her back because I knew that this message had to be shared. And I think that the most important thing for me today is these two messages. One is, I see this book as a playbook. It's not a workbook, it's a playbook for a new economy that works on the values that we know in our hearts are the right values for human beings, that's founded on the principles of love, of abundance, of generosity, and of nature, because those are the principles of the place that we live and the life that we're living at the moment. There may be many other civilizations out there that have very different principles, but it does seem to me that love, abundance, a few other things we can throw in there, joy and peace and freedom, generosity, nature, these are things that connect us universally as human beings. And Love Money, Money Loves You speaks to that. It's a way that we can align our relationship with money, which is an energy that is way, way more, so much more than notes and coins and transactions and bank accounts, that it's almost hard to imagine how different money really is when you get to know it from the way that we have conceived and limited and constrained it in our lives. So that economy, that people can be who they love to be and do what they love to do and not have to squeeze themselves into boxes in order to survive and do things that are soul numbing and heart cooling, but can actually bring their own natural gifts, whatever that is. And it's so different for all of us. It's very interesting because in my picture right now, she probably wouldn't even like to know this, is my mother. This book was dedicated to my mother, who is an artist and has become very successful as a sculptor in the UK, which for a woman of her generation is actually an extraordinary achievement. And I dedicated the book to her because I saw that there was something very special in what she did. She never talked about it. She never said anything. She just got on. She was just an artist through and through. And she brought us up and she supported my father, who was in the Navy. And she just did the things that she had to do. And then at a certain point, my father shared one of her sculptures he sent it to an exhibition in Scotland. And she wasn't even there. And I don't think she would have sent it herself. And it was accepted. And that was the beginning. And she went and learned how to do stone carving with some people who lived nearby. And that became something, it became what she does now. I can't even remember how old you are, Mum, but she's 80, about to be 88, I think, still sculpting almost every day and drawing and all of those things. And it's very inspiring to see that. So yeah, Love Money, Money Loves You, for me, from this day, really stands for an economy that works for all of us and a message that is shared. If there's anything that I want to come out of this more than anything else, it's that sense that this is something that we can share. It took me a long time. At first I hid it, then I sat and I felt very uncomfortable about it because it was money talking through my pen. It was different. People said it would ruin my reputation. Then I reached a point a few years ago where I felt I could stand beside it. It was like I needed to protect it still and make sure that I could explain it if people misunderstood it. And today is the beginning of the day where I feel like it can go out into the world. It doesn't need me to protect it or explain anything. It can stand on its own feet and you can take it however you like. But if you love it, I ask you to share it, because it's when not only share it by giving it to people, share it by talking about it, share it by getting together in groups and reading it and understanding this unbelievably beautiful message that money and the energy of manifestation and of materialization and of creation is available to every single one of us. And what we have learned about it is just wrong. It's a misunderstanding of an extraordinary and exquisitely beautiful energy that is available to every single one of us. And yes, it's hard to change from the relationship that we used to have, but is it worth it? Yes, without any doubt whatsoever. It's worth the shift. It's not that hard, actually, because it's like money gives you little gifts all the way along. What's hard is just the fact that we're so stuck in our old ways that it sometimes feels like, oh, will it be safe to do something different? Every time I've taken a step and done something different, it's worked. And I have had many experiences of getting stuck in, this is how we're supposed to do it. This is how everybody else does it. This is the formula for business, always around business. Every single time I've done that, I've felt stuck. Every time I open up and listen to the book, remarkable things happen. So it's a book you can experiment with and play with very, very freely and come back to time and time again. So I would like to invite Alia. Let's just see if Alia is here. I can't see her, so I cannot invite Alia.
I'm here. I'm here.
You're there, Alia. You're out of alphabetical order for some reason. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Alia, let me know. We had a community meeting a couple of weeks ago in preparation for this, and Alia offered a book blessing that she had written. And she wanted me to read it, and I said I would like to ask her to read it because this is very much a community book and a community experience. It's not a Sarah thing, okay? This is genuinely for sharing. So Alia, please share your book blessing with us.
Oh, so happy to. You already started it. And I have published it. I put the link in the chat. If you can go there and sort of read it out loud to yourself while I'm reading it, then it will have even more power. It echoes what you've just been saying, Sarah, and I'm thrilled and honored to be giving and supporting to this launch this way. It's originally written in the first person, but I've adapted it for the fact that I'm the one reading it today. We start by acknowledging with awe, reverence, and worship the source of all that is, the infinite creative power which constantly makes everything that happens happen, and which is always and ongoingly the substance and aliveness we all are. We each acknowledge and accept our rightful portion of that infinite creative power through which, as Sarah, this book has come into being. We acknowledge with reverent gratitude all that has happened and all the beings involved in bringing this book into existence and into the world, including especially, in this case, the energy of money. We acknowledge all of Sarah's ancestors and all the lineages of the thinkers represented in the book and the consciousness represented in the book. All who made it possible for those lives to touch hers and thus to flow through her into the book. All those who inspired and supported her in her creation process. All of the help, guidance, and support from her invisible guides, teachers, healers, all of the higher dimensional team in which her embodiment is a member. And all who made possible the publishing of this book and those involved in helping it find its way into the world. We acknowledge with gratitude and humble appreciation Sarah herself and all the choices that she made, which enabled her to reach this point of relaunching this book. All the perseverance, all the loving motivation to benefit others, all the self-acknowledgement and self-love necessary to deal with hurdles and challenges. We acknowledge with the most profound gratitude all who will use this book to enhance their own work toward a better world, and all who will share it with others and help more people discover it as useful to their work for a better world. We hereby imbue this book with its own conscious identity, morphic field, beingness, selfhood, and its own flowing purpose for the evolution and upliftment of all aspects and inhabitants of this planet. May it be guided and energized by all loving beings in at least these ways. May everyone into whose life space this book comes, in any way, to any degree, experience upliftment, support, encouragement, inspiration, and added strength, wisdom, and knowledge available for making their contributions to a more wonderful world. And may those who encounter this book be inspired to bring it to the attention of anyone they know who might benefit from it, and be guided to bring it to the attention even of people they don't yet know who might benefit from it. May the generosity of spirit and its manifested activity of all the above beings return to them, to us, 1,000-fold and more in every good way, including money, so we may glow more brightly in turn upon other nodes in Indra's net. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Alia. Yes. May it be so.
Indeed.
So there is a message from money for us today. This is a message that has never been written down. It's never been spoken before. I don't yet know what it is, but we are about to find out. So let's just take a moment and again feel into our relationship with money, the potential of a relationship with money that is based, as I said, on the principles, the foundation of love and abundance and generosity and nature. And let's see what money has to say to us today. So as I speak now, I'm going to be speaking as the voice of money, not as the voice of Sarah. Sometimes they come through saying we, sometimes they say I. It's a bit variable, so I don't know how that will be. But if it's I or we, it's money, and it's talking absolutely specifically and personally to you. And I have a feeling that in this case, it's also going to be speaking to us as a group, as a collective, and perhaps also in some way to us as a bigger collective, as a message to human beings. There's a very strong feeling these days of yet another wake-up call to us to live a simpler and more beautiful life. Okay, so let's see what money has to say to us today. We want to start with a very, very warm welcome to every one of you who is here, to every one of you who will watch the recording of this maybe later, to every one of you who will be touched by this moment in time where you're gathered in the name of something that is so often so complicated and so challenging and so confusing in the human world, and yet is so beautiful and so joyful and so desirable in the world in which money is really formed. We want you to open your hearts to the possibilities that will come to you, that are inevitable for you, when you embrace a different message and a different relationship with money that is based on what you know inside yourselves to be true. We are not asking you to do anything strange or anything that is out of alignment with who you are. We're asking you to step into that alignment, into the nature of who you are as individuals, as families, as communities, as a species, as an inhabitant of the planet Earth, and as a part of the nature that is the way that the Earth energy is expressed. We want to share with you today the codes of liberation. Liberation of your relationship with money. Liberation for human beings to be who you are, to be the people that you know in your hearts that you are. It doesn't matter how far away you've moved from being that person. It doesn't matter how out of sync you feel with yourself. That's a perfectly natural and normal experience. But what matters is that you feel and experience and know the freedom to be you, because that is the treasure of your life and of the lives of everybody that you touch. That is your greatest opportunity. It's where your greatest wealth, in the true sense of the word, lies. It's where your richest life is to be experienced. It's where you experience the freedom to know and contribute to beauty and truth and goodness in the world. What's very important about the message that we're sharing with you today is that when we use the word money, we bring you right into your world. People sometimes say to Sarah that she should use a different word because this isn't really money. But we are very, very deliberate in using the word money to describe what we do. The human system has tried to create a representation of the energy that we are. It started off with gifts. It's been done through the form of gold. It's now done in a very intangible form through numbers that get transferred through computers. That's a very beautiful thing. It's become so fine and so sophisticated that at the tap of a button, you can transfer energy deliberately to another person in exchange for something that they have shared with you. And at the same time, what you've created so far is so limited in terms of what's actually possible with this energy. There's been much talk for many years about manifestation, and people have got lost in it, people have got confused, people have had amazing experiences of manifestation. We talk also about materialization, the way that things become material in your experience, your personal, tangible experience, because that's where you get to experience a sense of agency and of power in your own life, that you're not just an extension of something that's an automated system of movement and of energy that you have no control over, but that one of the most profound experiences you have of, as a human being, of free will, of being able to make choices, is able to be expressed through you. And that is the experience of manifestation and materialization and creation. You are naturally creative beings. You naturally materialize experiences in your life, and you naturally have access to an extraordinary and beautiful system of manifestation. Until now, many of you have focused more than anything on your own manifestation. What can I manifest for myself? What can I create for myself? But you are feeling almost universally a pull now to look at what can we manifest and what can we create for us. And that is not only for human beings, but it is for all beings and for all life on this planet. When this book, Love Money, Money Loves You, was originally written, in the second blueprint for making money, which is in the book, there was a very strong encouragement to look at what is it that you would love to contribute to life? What is the change you would like to make in the world, to make the world a better place? And to ask you to enjoy yourselves and play with that change. Now the call is stronger. The call is to recognize the power of the energy that is contained and shared through this book, that is available to every single human being on the planet without any discrimination whatsoever. That is beautiful, that is expansive, that is made of love, and that is purely for sharing. Money has no value until it's shared, until it's passed from you to another person. And we ask you to step into your role, your creative role in the economy of Earth, and recognize that every decision that you make and the way that you make your decisions is a contribution and a formation of that economy. And so we invite you to be conscious. We invite you in your interactions with the economy, when you create things and share them, when you buy things and use them, when you wish for things and manifest them, when you conceive of huge projects and work for years to materialize them. These are all interactions with the economy. You are the people who shape it. It is not the banks. It is not the governments. It is not the out there institutions and large groupings. They appear to have power, but the real power lies in each one of you. I speak as Sarah for a moment. I can feel it's like it's saying each one of you, including you, Sarah. I wanted to say each one of us. It's confusing to relay the message, but it must include every single one of us. No one is left out. Every single interaction with the economy forms and shapes the future of that economy. That is the power that each one of you holds, each group of you holds, each community, each business, each grouping that comes together to do something and will inevitably, at every step of that thing, engage with the energy of money. Every time you have a wish, every time you decide to make something, every time you make the world better for somebody else, every time you get out of bed in the morning and put on your shoes, you are engaging with the energy of money. So please feel the richness of this, the generosity of it, and the enormous opportunity. The opportunity to change your relationship with money as an individual and as collectives that form the entire collective of your planet is the key that liberates humanity, because it's the key to you being able to manifest the life that you genuinely, sincerely wish for, rather than the life that you think that you ought to be living. And as people learn how to do that, that is where freedom is to be found. It's where joy in life lives. It's where genuine creativity and sharing your gifts is liberated. And it's where you are invited and empowered to do what you love to do. So thank you for listening to this message. And as Sarah, again, I wish to acknowledge especially today as the birth of our new identity. This is my business, the collective that has formed around this work, around money especially, to be called Liberate Humanity, with a website which is liberatehumanity.com, because this message of money is so important, and it lies so much in the center of all my work. I also want to acknowledge the very recent launch of Love2. You'll have heard the words Love2 coming through what I said several times. Love2 being a business that is literally made to enable people to do what they love, the things that are valuable for life, in many cases essential for life. These are the essence of life, things like producing healthy soil, fresh air, clean water, healthy human beings, helping to prevent disasters, all the things that are so valuable for us that we can't do without them, that have not been valued in the past. So these are living expressions of the energy of money. And I invite everybody here to be a living expression of this very beautiful energy, and to share it through your business and through your life as generously as you possibly can. Thank you for that. That's the first time I've actually spoken a message from money live like that. It's always been written before, so that's a very beautiful moment for me. I just want to make sure that you know, if you'd actually like to buy a book or some books, if you have friends, family, clients, community who you'd like to share it with, I'd just like to make sure that you have the link. Oh, Gary, you just bought it. Amazing. So let's put the link into the chat, please. lovemoneybook.com. We're going to do something really special with these books. I'll tell you a little story. So if you buy a book, we're going to make sure that a mango tree, this might sound a little bit strange, is planted. There's a wonderful organization in Kenya who works with AIDS orphans. And in many cases, those children, or in virtually all cases, they have to live with families, extended families, when their parents die, who really can't afford to take care of the children. And so this project started, went and really looked at the roots of the problem. And instead of giving money to just kind of support them or doing something rather traditional, they looked at the whole economy of the entire system. The mango trees that we're going to plant, a single mango tree will keep a child in school for 2 years, because it produces not only food for the children, it produces an income for the woman who plants the mango tree, and therefore it contributes to the local economy. And so it's got this kind of expansive quality about it, that from a single mango tree, and we have the only fruit that was growing in our farm when we first arrived here was mangoes. From planting a mango tree, the woman has a business, the children have food, the children have school, and then that flows into the rest of the community. So it feels very aligned. If you buy a Kindle, we'll plant a forest tree, because it's just as important to have the local forest regenerating as it is to have the food. We need the food and we need the environment. So for a paperback, we'll do the mango tree, and for the Kindle, we'll do a forest tree, and that helps to regenerate the local economy and regenerate the local environment. And there are many things that they do around that. I just see a question there. Yes, the website for Love2 is love2.group. I will, those of you who've got questions that you'd like to ask, just hold those for a little while. I'll see if we can have some time. The other thing is I want to do a heads up on, we're going to run a great big book club starting on the 1st of May. I would like to invite anybody and everybody who's interested to join us on the 1st of May. It will be a 1-month book club. We're going to read the book, we're going to do the exercises, we're going to talk about it, we're going to do some live Zoom calls about it, and just have a great big experience together. Because I will tell you that yesterday we decided to bring the book back into the heart of the business. We just read chapter 1 yesterday in my team, and it was the most profound business meeting that I have ever experienced. So it might look as if this book is all about your personal relationship with money. It's really about business and the way we operate around money. I'd like to invite a few stories. If any of you has a funny or a fun or a just really surprising, beautiful story about money, please feel free to put your hand up using the reactions button at the bottom. And I've got a few people who have offered, or I've cajoled, to tell a story. These are people who are very close to me. The 3 people, my closest partners. So I'd like to start with Matt, who is my business partner in the very business that we are sitting in today as we speak here. Matt.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me to join today and actually speak of my story. But firstly, I wanted to, really thank you, for your courage, to share the message of money and really create this book, because it's been a wonderful resource for me, and I know it's been a wonderful resource for so many to date, but will also contribute to so many people in the future. And so I'd like to thank you for, sharing the message, your wisdom, but probably on a personal level from me, your friendship. I very much appreciate those things as well. So I'll tell you a bit of a story about Sarah. I met Sarah about 8 years ago, and she often talks about this message that she came to Australia and she didn't really have much with her. I didn't think she had much luggage or something like that, and then she had to go out and buy some clothes to come to this meeting with this accountant in a formal boardroom in Melbourne, Australia, which is where I am and where I run a business. And I got introduced to Sarah, and it was obviously fairly fortuitous in terms of this initial meeting. And I knew at that point in time that this is a person that was going to contribute great value to me and also help me significantly, and also help the many people that I also contribute to as well. Sarah arrived at a time where I was running a reasonably successful accounting and advisory firm that helped hundreds of business owners achieve their goals and aspirations and their dreams, which is fundamentally the principle of why I've created the business in the first place. And I was still struggling with the day-to-day running of a business and obviously the difficulties that we face as business owners in navigating through the complexity of running businesses. And, I was on a personal journey to understand how to, enjoy business more, thrive better, help more people, and those sorts of things. And a lot of my teachings that I'd received seemed to help to a degree, but probably weren't completely the things that I needed. And then when I came across Sarah and her teachings and her wisdom was very much around a message that I hadn't heard before in that particular way. And for me, it made a significant difference on a personal level, where I started to understand business, money, my relationships with inside of those, and just the energy that goes along with it. And I'm extremely grateful that I was introduced to Sarah, and I've had this great experience with her. And, it very much centered around the message of money. And Sarah was very good at asking very difficult questions of me and probing me and prodding me and making me very disturbed, which she often loves to do. And she's very happy when I'm actually confused and disturbed a lot of the times, because she knows that she's actually getting through to me. But just this concept, I just remember she asked me the question around, what is your relationship with money, which is kind of the real core of the book, I suppose, in terms of its energy. And I found it it's a great question. It was an interesting question. It was one that made me really think about, my relationship with money. I'd never been asked that question before. And what was very clear to me at the time was, I had a lot of fear around money. Money, there was a lot of, and I think that was the basis behind, a lot of the reason why I don't think I was enjoying being in business as much as, there was success there and there was a lot of great things that were creating, but I probably personally wasn't really enjoying the journey as much as what I would like to and what I was seeking to. And I could see that was sort of deeply rooted in terms of this concept around fear of money. And so Sarah's taken me on a journey over the years around sort of releasing that fear and changing it, and the concept of poverty and the concept of abundance, and turning that sort of trust, energy of trust. So I started to really understand the word trusting energy, trusting business, trusting money, trusting sort of the momentum that comes with that. And that was a wonderful journey for me and experience. And it came at a time where I was really at a crossroad as to what I was going to do next with the business. It was successful, but I could see it could actually contribute a lot more to the world. It was a business worth, probably $5 million. It's now worth about $35 million in terms of the sort of the growth of that. Now that's a number. It's representative money, which is great, but really the thing that I've enjoyed the most is what it contributes to me and to my family, but also to the business community. We look after thousands of businesses and we help them achieve their dreams, goals, and aspirations, and the contribution that they make to the world. And that for me brings me a huge amount of joy and fulfillment. And listening to what Sarah was talking about before with the Liberate Humanity, those words really resonate with me in terms of, the contribution that we are making as individuals. I often think it's a small way, but really it has a significant ripple effect across, the world, as we can see today with so many people online throughout the whole world, which is fascinating and unbelievable as well. But I just wanted to, I was really pleased when Sarah asked me to speak today, just because I just wanted to honour what Sarah has done, what she's created, where she is today, the bravery and the courage of the messaging and bringing it out to the world. And I'm very humbled to be part of that. And I'd just like to thank you, and thank you for the book. It's just a great resource from my point of view.
Thanks, Matt. Matt could probably tell some stories about some of my more difficult moments over the last few years. There's been a lot of change, hasn't there, over that time on both our sides. Yeah, I know that Luke has to go. So Luke, we'll try to keep the stories fairly short just for the sake of time. But Luke's been around this for a long time. In fact, I have to tell you one thing about Luke. He got in touch with me very urgently back in, when was it? I don't know, 2010 or something. And said, Sarah, there's this thing, you've got to do it. It's called Bitcoin and you can become a miner. And I had no money and no clue what he was talking about. Unfortunately, I think I wish I'd put $100 in there, Luke. You were the very first person who were right at the beginning. But anyway, tell your story.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So when Sarah was launching the book, you asked people to do testimonials, didn't you?
I did, years ago.
Yeah. So I figured, well, if Sarah can channel money, then, well, I could do something similar. So I gave it a go. And the answer came back was, you used to work in the bureaucratic department, about the money department.
That's like up in the sky department.
Yeah. which was a bit of a surprise.
If you knew
Um,
Luke, it's funny to think of him that maybe he was something like an angel before, but you never know.
Well, just an old soul.
An old soul.
Which, if you've read Michael Newton's Journey of Souls, you find that the later section of the book describes souls who have do things like do energy manipulation to start life on planets, which brings a whole ironical meaning to the whole thing of intelligent design. Is it either evolution or is it intelligent design? No, it's both, for goodness sake.
Of course.
Anyway, this is going to be a bit poignant to tell, because this bureaucratic department has evolved with humanity. There's much of the evolution of humanity that the department has to grow up with it, evolve in real time.
So we're saying money is evolving even as we're doing this. It's evolving along with us as we evolve.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was asked, because I've experienced so many lives on Earth, I was asked to deal with some of the unusual requests that were coming in. And, well, although this book is about making beautiful requests, but I have to say that not everybody on the planet Earth is beautiful, but they can make very clear requests. And one of the things about nature is that, and about money, is that when you make a clear request, nature has no choice but to comply.
Yeah.
And we as angels had to deliver and witness it and make a record of what happened, the transaction, in the Akashic records. Now, my friends, when we think of death, we think, our soul, passes on to the other side. But my friends, they couldn't handle it. And they were literally torn apart.
Because of the requests that were being made?
Yeah. So what I do now is in honor and in their memory. And I would ask everyone who makes requests to just be mindful that what you are doing is something that there are genuine, real beings behind it delivering what you request. So please honor them. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. We're actually going to play a little game that will bring that very much to life, Luke, in a little while. So it's very pertinent that you raise that. And thank you for drawing attention to the fact that what we do has consequences not only on Earth, but in the multi-dimensional reality that is all around us. Okay,
the good news is that there were adjustments made.
Good. All right. Nico, for those of you who haven't met him, is my partner and my husband. He is also truly a rock. He is so in the heart and the earth of my life and my businesses as well. He's usually silent, as many people experience him, but he's always present. And yes, there's no point in imagining him not being there. That's not really the point. I'm just so grateful that he's here, and that together there are things that we can do that I could not do without him. So Nico, Do you have a little thing that you want to say?
Thank you for nice words. And it is a great pleasure to see so many familiar, beautiful faces. What to say? I was lucky to be close to Sarah and to hear messages from first or second hand. And it was great experience. After some time, that become this. Those messages become this book, first edition, Joy Prospero.
Completely homemade, not a dollar spent on it.
Yeah, it was simple, but definitely powerful message in those books. What I remember, some of those principles, relax, enjoy, love, that it is very powerful. And I had in my mind desire, I don't want to work for money. And here I am. Sarah is working for me. And yeah, it is great. I love simplicity of this book. And there is second edition, and that's final one. So what to say? It is great to be part of this community, and simply just I really thank you all for coming, and I believe you'll make big impacts all together to make better world. So thank you. That's
Thank you.
enough for me.
Thank you. Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. And just sit down so I don't make you sick. What an honor to be here and to have been introduced to your book in the first place, and this community and this communal book. And I want to say how you talked about, please share it with people. And I don't think I've ever experienced anything that's been so easy to share. I don't think I've ever read a book or heard music or had a piece of work be as compelling as this has been for me to want to share. It's just effortless. And I love that. And a few of you have already heard this, so I apologize, but I'm going to make a quick story because it's the image is burned in my mind now. And it's really kind of delightful and funny. When I was introduced to this book and this work, for me, it was what I needed to feel okay and close to money and feel okay with having money or wanting money or spending money. And it finally made all these other constructs that I had about money go away, and it turned it into a beautiful spiritual thing for me. And I remember last summer when I was introduced to Sarah and I was listening to the audiobook and I was mowing my lawn outside and just feeling the sun vibes and listening to it. And I just broke down crying in my neighborhood, just thinking, I feel all this love. I feel the money of love, and I love it back, and I love people through it, and I love giving it, and I love receiving it. And this was, for me, the answer and the solution and the way of being with money and a true wealth. And it really resonates so deeply inside of me. And that's why it's so easy to share. And I feel so wealthy being in this community. And having heard you, I'm super appreciative, and that's my little story.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you so much. Just so that you know, if you buy a book, what's different this time? It's got an extra section at the end from the previous version, which is for business owners. It's very simple, but it's really powerful. I think every time I read it, it's like, wow, that's such a reminder. So it's worth that. You also get, we didn't have this before, but I've made some new recordings, like activations that are specifically to help you really experience the energy of money. And we're going to do a live book reading and a Q&A. So I saw that a few of you have questions actually about the book and the contents and money and things. Come to the live book reading and you can ask your questions. So I'm going to read one of my favorite chapters and talk about it a little bit and then take questions. It's in the schedule already, so you'll receive an email when you sign up for the gifts on the website. And then come. I think it's either next week or the week after. If you buy 5 books or more, so if you do what Vanessa seems to be doing, I'm adding in, this is something I've not done before and I'm really excited about it. I'm adding in a business workshop. People have started to ask me, how do you do it, Sarah? How do you communicate? They say to me things like, you don't do funnels, do you? You don't do all the things that we hate. How do you do it? So I'm going to start to share some of how I have approached business through the lens of this book, basically, and the message, and how I've changed the way that I do things over time and moved away from the more traditional formulae and the things that everyone else is teaching and found the way that seems to resonate and works for us. Because I've had some crushing failures, I have to tell you. I've had some incredible 0 result experiences that pushed me to find a better way. If you buy more than 15 books, we actually have a kind of create your own gift package, because people have different situations. So if you have a business community, we can do something for your community. If you have a book club, we can do something for your book club, whatever it is. So we will have a meeting and actually figure out what would be a great little package of gifts for you. If you buy 15 plus, if you buy 1,000 books or 500, we'll be very generous as well. So that's that. Let's just have a couple more stories. Tim, my business partner in Love2, who I met in the most clearly arranged way, like it was clearly destined to be, I would say, a little over 5 years ago, and have been building Love2 ever since. Tim, welcome.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. What a great event, and how fantastic to see so many people here and so many familiar to us. Because we've been building Love2 together for a little over 5 years now, and so many of the people here have been super supportive and helpful to us along the way. So it's great to see you all too. I don't think we wouldn't have had the ideas for what Love2 has become now without the book, without Love Money, Money Loves You. It's been foundational to what we're doing. And the fundamental thing I think to say is that every promise the book makes has been fulfilled and then some. Money has always been able to over-deliver and to help. Money comes to life through our activity, through our business, through our work, through what we do, through what we care about, through what we love to do. And we've seen that time and time again in Love2. And in the moments where we've needed not only, working capital, we've needed working capital from time to time. Love2 has always been able to find that with the support of the people around who have come in most unexpected ways.
And with great ease and generosity.
And with great ease. Yeah, it's such a beautiful experience. I've been building businesses for 35 years now, and I've never, ever had an experience like this. This is quite extraordinary and beautiful and kind. There's a real generosity and kindness that comes through when we really adopt the principles that are in the book and make them our principles, our guideposts to how we make decisions and what we accept and what we don't. It's a beautiful experience. And now I guess it's starting to come through, and some of you will know this that are involved with Love To, but we're at the point now 5 years down the road where it's not just an idea anymore. We've actually gone out and worked with 25 farmers and identified the regenerative work they've been doing, some of them for nearly 40 years. We met one of them, Sarah and I went to Brisbane last week to meet one of our farmers who was one of the first organic farmers in Australia in 1984. And he and his family are fourth generation on this land. And, he was really delighted and pleased and proud. He tested us out a little bit, but he was really delighted to meet us and understand where we're coming from. And for us to find that people finally feel free to express the spirit that motivates them in their work when they talk to us. And that's because this loving energy of money and this loving energy of life and creativity is behind what we are doing and behind what they're doing. And we kind of meet on that basis. So we're now in a position where we've evaluated all these properties and looked at the work they've done and valued it. And it turns out to be worth something in the order of 800 million Australian dollars. That's quite a lot for 25 farmers. It's huge. So I can see you there, Gail, going, wow, yeah. So it's true. And we're at the point where we've issued our information memorandums and we're ready to start issuing the securities to those people and to get institutions to buy those shares literally in the next few days. We're doing that every day. We're doing that right now. So, if ever there was evidence of money being involved, Sarah and I have a bit of a fun origin story about how we met, but really the story comes down to it being about the book bringing us together, and the original maybe version of the book bringing us together, and us being able to build something very special by completely opening up and completely trusting and honoring the messages that are in the book, and that money is there to not only teach us, but to actually participate with, almost as like a person by your right hand side, and being right there all the time to bring the comfort and the support and the love and get you through those times that are sometimes a bit sticky when you're working through something a bit more challenging. So it's with huge gratitude that I'm here today to just recognize how much help we've had and how much love has come through to us by doing this, and how we've hopefully created a vehicle that spreads love and freedom and aliveness to everyone who comes into touch with Love To and with the book. So yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Sarah. Keep going. It's great.
I'll keep going. That's the one thing I tend to do. I'm quite stolid, I think, just put one foot in front of another and keep going. Sometimes it feels hard because I'm not really listening, and sometimes it feels easier because I'm listening a bit more, but I'm getting better at listening as well. Okay, Lisa, can we hold it for a little while? I would love to just take a few minutes. There's this game that I want to try out. I've never done it with lots of people like this, but I think it would be cool. So I'm going to explain it rather quickly. It's called the Money God Game, and it really follows from what Luke said. So I would like you to imagine that you are kind of like a money god. You're one of the, we're sort of just playing with this here. You're kind of like a god in the sky, somewhere in the in the outer realms, and you listen to human beings who make wishes. And your job is simply to fulfill those wishes. You have to kind of arrange events. You're not really allowed to interfere, but you're allowed to respond directly to the wishes of human beings. And of course, there are many different human beings making different wishes, so they sort of need to meld together in some way. And we're going to invite a few wishes from some poor hapless human beings. And you as the gods are going to decide what you're actually able to deliver. So the rules are, you cannot use any emotion. You can only deliver precisely what's asked for. So listen extremely carefully to what's actually being asked for. You have to deliver according not only to the words, but also to the energy behind the words. Okay, so if somebody asks for something beautiful and their energy is miserable, you must deliver misery plus beauty. Okay, you can't just select the good bits. And if someone asks for something negative, you must deliver. Okay. Those are the rules. That's why Luke was so choked up when he described his experience in that realm, because the requests are not always that beautiful. And I'm going to see if there is, let me just open up the participants here. If there are a handful of people who would put up your hand to be a human being. Okay, you need to be willing to, it might be a little uncomfortable being the human, so either be brave or be somebody who knows me already, and then you'll know how to handle it. Just raise your hand to be a human being if you dare. Somebody, thank you. Oh, Gary, you're wonderful. Gary will be a great human being. What a way for you to participate. Gary, please tell all these gods of money here what your real wish is for yourself or for whatever.
First of all, congratulations on the relaunch. This is such a auspicious day, and I express so much gratitude for the transformation I've had the opportunity to go through, not only with the book, but with collaborating with you all these years. I'm taken by surprise. As always, I dive into the unknown here.
Your contribution had to be unique. This is so perfect for you.
You know, I wish for a recognition, a payment for those of us who are using music and transformational media and the arts to address and change the monopoly of the linear rational mind, so that our hearts and souls will be as valued when we get fed and nourished as it is when these other realms in the traditional world get valued. So the way I would like to have the world acknowledge and support, this is all supported by, when Steve Jobs died, he was so upset that Spotify and streaming services replaced that guarantee of a 30% return from a 99 cents download. So, just people like me who are social activists around the arts, how can artists, I want to be rewarded and remunerated along with my peers on those of us who are using the arts to open hearts and connect us to our souls.
Thank you, Gary. Okay, gods, you have a huge challenge here. What are you going to deliver to Gary? You have to deliver all of what he spoke about. Now, there's a little bit too much in there for you probably to remember it all, but very, very precisely what he spoke about, what are you going to deliver to him? Can you write in the chat? Just write whatever you can. Do it just quick so that we don't spend too much time. Okay, Vanessa's delivering you a little frustration, Gary. Thank you, Vanessa. That's very generous of you. What else? So she's
gifts like that I don't need. Okay, that's
you've already made her cry, but this is like Luke. So Nichelle is going to deliver you a community to help you with the movement, but no money yet. It's got to be non-linear, because he contrasted what he wanted with linear. So that you're going to get something non-linear, Gary. That's pretty cool. You get a lot of that already. I'm a bit confused, somebody says. What's the amount you want per song? I think you're going to get the kind of Spotify equation. You paid some attention to that. Oh, somebody's giving you exploiting the good-hearted. Poof. Wow. Someone else is giving you confusion. Someone is going to get you paid, sure, $1 or $1 billion. That's Ian, very generous Ian. $1 or $1 billion.
Pain and anguish, oh my God.
Muriel says, may we all live in gratitude and joy. Thank you, Muriel. I think we need that. Pain and anguish.
Can I change my request?
Lena's delivering lots of work for all artists. Look, after this, I think Luke's team are actually going to be really crying for Gary, because they don't like it.
Sarah, I just want to change my request. I just want a home in nature that I can live with my grand piano. How's that?
I think we might be able to do that. Let's do a random act of kindness here. I have this little thing where we can deliver a few miracles, not to Gary. I will do my best. I want Love to do what Gary is really asking for. And I hope that there are other people trying to do the same thing in the world. But in the meantime, I am going to make a promise. Just open up my chat so I can make it to everybody. I have this beautiful website, beautiful organization called B1G1, Buy One, Give One. I am going to do I'm going to ask you, actually, you can do a random act of kindness as the gods. Put your choices in and we'll count afterwards which one is the most popular. You can give a mango tree, you can give business support to a woman, you can give seeds to a child, or you can give a goat to a family as the gods. These are if you give the goat, they have to give the first baby to another family, so the goat keeps on giving. The mango tree I've talked about. The seeds for a child to feed obviously are important. Business support for a woman. Put your gifts in there. That's a random act of kindness to make up for the fact that the gods are having a really hard day today. And thank you, Gary, for changing your request. Let's go and have, let's do it, one more human being. I think we'll have, just for the sake of gender balance, we'll have Rochelle. We should do a long version of this game one day. Maybe we'll do it as a community activity, a great big money god game, because it's very cool to play for a while. Rochelle, what's your request?
Hi. I joined late, I have to say. I'm working from home, and I haven't read your book, but I've been listening to your videos that you post.
You're very brave to show up here.
So yes, I'm feeling quite overwhelmed with. I mean, Gary has such an amazing, a lot of things to say, and I feel selfish to say what I want.
Just say.
I have a big credit card bill, and I ask for $25,000 to pay off the credit card bill.
Okay. Gods, read Rochelle's request and her energy around the request and tell me what you're going to deliver. Ooh, Vanessa's a tough god. Some money and some guilt. Delivering selfishness, which judgment comes from lack of connection with others. Wow, that's the Rev speaking. Woo! More debt. Wow, I thought you were going to do better than that. May you find your best employment ever, so you pay off in 6 months. So that's a nice one. $5,000 is on its way. Are you absolutely sure you want? It wasn't 2K. It was what, 25?
25. Yeah.
25K. So Fiona's saying, are you absolutely sure you want that? Any other gods willing to respond to Rochelle's request?
I'd like to learn more about how to make a request.
Okay, so Lena says you will get 25K and that's it. To be fair, if you can get 25K, you can ask for more. It's like there's only one, you can make as many requests.
Today's request, yes.
That's just for now. Daven says she thought that was clear. That's done. Lisa says she can deliver it easily. So thank you, Rochelle. Lisa, you have a little story maybe. Lisa has had a request delivered. I don't know if that's the story she wanted to tell, but maybe she can. Nicholas says it was clear, but I didn't feel the enthusiasm. The enthusiasm makes it a lot easier. So as a stand-in God for a moment, I would say, Rochelle, that the most likely thing is that you will get it and you'll have to work for it, work quite hard for it. So yeah, more joy. I'd like to feel the joy. If with more joy, it becomes easier to deliver. That's something you'll learn from the book. Okay, thank you for being so brave to put your hand up.
Thank you.
It's a rough world that we live in, actually. It's very precise. Lisa, you had your hand up before. You got something to share?
Yeah, so this worked really well with her request. So I've read your book actually multiple times, starting back in 2018. I think I was first introduced to it. And in 2019, I was sitting in a traffic light and the young girl in front of me decided she didn't want to be there. She wanted to be in the other lane, and she put her truck in reverse and like just plowed right into me. Anyway, so my car was in the shop getting repaired. I was listening to the book, walking my dog. And on one of the later chapters in the book, it's about like, I need money now. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to pay my deductible the way the insurance is here. I would love $500. I would love $500. Didn't really think about it anymore. I was walking my dog, doing my thing. More morning, the mechanic calls me and says, "Hey, I was able to find parts for your car. It's going to be $500 less than what I originally told you it was going to be." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that was so easy and so fun." I had no attachment to the outcome. I just said, "I want $500. It wasn't cash in my bank, but it was definitely a windfall for me.
It's the same as cash, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe even better than cash. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And then
thank
I'm
you,
like,
Lisa.
yeah, that was so much fun. I'm like, I want $1,000 today. And that was the thing. It was ask for it, like I need it today. And so I did that. I'm like, same thing. I just kind of said, I want $1,000 today. This is fun. I'm going to try it and see what happens. The next day he called and he'd found another part. He had to ship it. But it was $1,000 cheaper than so I got $1,500 in 2 days by asking for money with no attachment, I just kind of put it out there and then pretty much forgot about it and just let it come to me. And I think that that's part of it, is just that unattachment to it, and then allowing.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa has some pretty good stories to tell that we have witnessed. So we have to save those. Thank you. So yeah, anyone else who wants to do a random act of kindness, that link that I gave a little earlier, and Michael has just shared again, that is a place where you can do it through B1G1. They're very cool. I know the people who run B1G1 really well, and they enable businesses to basically embed giving into the way that you do business. So the things like we've done today, you can say every time somebody buys a book, this happens every time. I know people, every time somebody connects with them on LinkedIn, they give some seeds to a child in somewhere or whatever. So it's just a very cool way. But if you want to do a random act of kindness, you can actually do it now. There are 4 choices on that link. So have a go. We've got something to end with. I'll just remind you, for anyone who wants to join us, we're going to do a great big book club starting on the 1st of May. I think it would be worth it even if you've done it before. I just feel like it's a celebration. It's the extension and expansion and celebration of this launch to do that. And I'm going to literally do it and read the book myself in the same way, and really reflect on it as part of the new stage of business that I'm in. I want to check if Jyoti is here.
Sarah, Jyoti just called me. She's been having trouble getting the link. I just sent it to her again.
Okay.
And she's waiting. She's getting online, hopefully, as we speak.
It's funny. I had that message just a couple of minutes ago. Jyoti hasn't got the link. So I'll just start to... Oh, she's here. Jyoti, are you there? Maybe that's not her. So I'll just start to introduce Jyoti for a moment before she gets here, and I'll just tell you how this is going to unfold. So Jyoti is an incredible person I met on an interview last year. This is very significant for this book and for this message about money. We were being interviewed in an event organized by Catherine Lucas called Birthing the New Earth. Jyoti has worked for years and runs an organization called The Fountain with Indigenous people all over the world. She convened the 13 grandmothers, who are 13 grandmothers from Indigenous nations, again, all over the world, who have spoken as elders. And there was a film made about them not long ago as well. And we had this extraordinary conversation where I felt for the first time ever that kind of money from the West, so to speak, or money, like new money, met the old nations, the original peoples, and that there was a way in which we could have an economy and a system that works on the fundamental original principles of nature and life and reciprocity that are universal amongst the original peoples. And we could do that with this new message, this evolved message about money. And so I asked Jyoti if she would come and do a blessing for the book for us to end with. Jyoti, are you here yet or not? Not yet. So what I think we'll do is I have another thing that I'd love to share with you. It will take us about 4 minutes over time. If you're able to stay past the half hour, we will do that. And then hopefully by then Jyoti will be in, and she can finish with the blessing instead of finishing with this. So I would like to ask
Sarah, if you need, I can call her and we can hear her through my phone on the Zoom if it comes to that. You let me know.
Okay. We'll end with her and see where we're at. I know that there are always some people may need to drop off, but hopefully some of you will be able to stay for that, because I want it to be recorded. I wanted it to be part of the event. It feels really important. So in the meantime, I would like to ask you, if you possibly can, to turn your video on. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. But if you possibly can, you will have the experience that we're about to do really makes an enormous difference when we have as many videos turned on as possible. Okay, and please make sure that you're not in gallery view. Put yourself in speaker view at the top right of your screen. It says view. Just make sure that you're seeing just me at the moment, not the whole gallery of lots and lots of people. Okay, and take a breath for a moment. And relax. This is a moment to celebrate the fact that money is about people. Money is about community. It's about sharing. And fundamentally, it's about us. Do you know how beautiful you are? Have you ever stopped to look at yourself? To see yourself in your truth? In the clarity of who you are? In your magnificence? If only you could see what I can see. If only you could know what I know of you. You would stand before yourself in awe. You would see yourself you would feel yourself. You would know yourself. And so I invite you in this moment to see how beautiful you are. To see yourself in clarity, in simplicity, in your true nature. I invite you to see yourself. You are so beautiful. And I welcome Jyoti Ma. I've already introduced you, Jyoti. And so please share what you would like to share with us to bring to an end this gathering and to open up many future gatherings around this beautiful energy called money. Jyoti, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me into this beautiful circle of beauty. And you've asked me to just put everything in.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you not hear me? I am.
I can hear you. It sounds like you've got something on your phone or something going on at the same time.
I was trying to bring her on the phone, not knowing she was there, but now
Yes.
she's here, so that's
Can you
good.
not hear me? I am.
Somebody's got her on somebody's on your phone or something going on at the same time. I will.
Trying to bring her on the phone, not knowing she was there, but now
You're multiplying.
I am.
Somebody's got her on somebody's on your phone or something going on at the same time. Have you turned off your phone?
trying to bring her on the phone, not knowing she was there. But now
You're multiplying. Okay, somebody has done, so maybe it was you, Jyoti. Have you got it on two computers, or your phone and your computer at the same time? Let's have a go. Unmute yourself, Jyoti, and see what happens. Have you got it on two computers, or your phone and your computer at the same time?
No, I don't. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
We're clean. We're clean. Unmute yourself, Jyoti, and see what happens. All right, look. Computers or your phone and your computer at the same time?
No, I don't. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I think
I'm going to let's see what happens if I unmute myself. If I mute myself and only you speak, and if that doesn't work, we'll figure out what to do from there.
No, I don't. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I think
I'm going to let's see what happens if I unmute myself. If I mute myself and only you speak, and if that doesn't work, we'll figure out what to do from there.
No, I don't. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I think
I'm going to let's see what happens if I unmute myself. If I mute Jyoti, I think that this is worth. I'm going to ask you if you could just go out and come back in again. We're patient. We're very relaxed. Just come back in again. I think that should clear it. Yeah. Whoa! What an experience. Anyway, we can take a moment to really appreciate. I always feel that when I do the spotlighting, and you see these magnificent portraits of each person in our ordinariness, completely uncomposed, and I think of my mother, who always said that portraits. People never do portraits. Artists never do portraits of people smiling, because when people are smiling, it's often that they've put it on, and a portrait so often is of this being, which is something so much more than the smile that we put on ourselves. And every time I do that spotlighting, that's what I see. I just see these magnificent beings here, so different, all of us, everyone so beautiful in our unique way. You could never want to swap yourself out or swap bits of you out when you see it like that. So, Jyoti, I think we're okay.
Well, I think I've come in to make sure that we have joy in everything that we do here around money.
Why not?
I've been trying to get on for almost 30 minutes, having great difficulty moving here and there and with Gary. But finally I arrived, and then this echo arrived with me, and I don't know why. It wasn't coming off my phone. Don't know why. It's a mystery. So what I'd like to say is the mystery has arrived probably way before I got here, and I just got to stir it up a little bit. So if we can all hold that, Sarah, you've asked me to do a little bit of a blessing with this beautiful book that flowed down in through you to flow out into all of us. And so with that in mind, I'd just like to offer this prayer of thanksgiving and gratitude as I sit here in the sacred territory of the Pomo and the coastal Miwok people. I sit here in great gratitude and appreciation that this circle of amazing people have heard a call and have come to sit around this world table and to unpack that which has confused us for some time. For Creator, we moved away from the sourcing of love and that energy and intelligence of love that runs through absolutely everything we touch, we are, we breathe into, and we breathe out. So thank you for helping Sarah to catch this instruction from money, a currency, an economy, is trying to restore itself back to the original principles it sat on. And those principles, once they're activated the way that has been being explored throughout this call today, they unlock us from something so we can be free again and breathe into the sourcing of it all. It allows us to restore an economy that's based on love, that cares for nature and follows the principles and laws of nature, so that all of life can be honored, that all nations and all peoples and the diversity of this creation can be restored, reconnected, and breathe itself into its full presence once again. And oh, Creator, we need this foundation to be regenerated, restored, reactivated. So everyone here, as they leave this call, can move away with some inspiration that it stirred, some way of imagining themselves into their original, authentic being. And through that course of imagining, we are here. So thank you, Creator, for helping us find the ways to get through the tricky energies that might keep us from such an actualization. Thank you, Creator, for helping us stay light in our hearts, still in our minds, and gentle as we walk with this Mother Earth during these turning times. Thank you for the prophecies that have called all this into place. They prepared us, they instruct us, and they too are imagining the new dawn. They're dreaming us into place. For we are in a great adventure with this Mother Earth as she evolves and ascends herself into this new dimension, the new dawn. The new dawn has already arrived, my elders say. And with it, there are instruments coming to help us cultivate that new dawn and help us remember ourselves as a part of that which is dawning. So blessings for these instruments. Blessings for those that have cleared their minds and their hearts well enough that they can see and hear when these instruments come to sit amongst us as one sat amongst us today. For love truly is moving, coursing through, watering us, helping us remember that we are an economy of value. For every single one here has a currency they bring to the table, a value they are to identify and bring to the table. And for this, I am oh so grateful. Thank you to the ancestors that carried this dream till now and then handed it to us to care for, and for those that will come behind us to carry it on further. For love is marching. Let us be unified in our march. And let money flow freely as love does and instructs us. It is a blessed day. It is a blessed day. It is a blessed day. And I give thanks. So be it.
And we are so grateful. Let's end as we began. So as we part, let's breathe and remember that we are the breath of life. We are the breath of life. You and I We are in the wind. We are in the trees. We are in the soil. We are in the rivers and the lakes and the seas. We are the breath of life, you and I. We move together through space, through the stars, and home again. We breathe as one and as two. We breathe life in. We breathe life out. We breathe together. And we breathe apart. We breathe life for each other. We see, we know, we breathe. We are the breath of life. As it breathes. So we breathe. We are the breath of life, you and I. So thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all of us joining each other. Thank you for sharing the message and for the sense that we are whole, we are all in this, that we're complete individually and together. We're part of an entire system that actually works, and we're simply a little bit of a help to that system to make it work better for us and for all the people and for the nature on this planet. The fundamentals of it work already. There are some adjustments that we can make so that we get to experience that too. Thank you very much, and see you very soon. You can go on gallery view now and look at everybody. All right, goodbye.
Thank you, Sarah. Love you.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
Sarah,
Thank
blessings.
you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.